Здравствуйте, меня зовут Сарсик Перик, я студент второго курса по специальности журналистика. Features of the translation of the works Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin and his influence on Kazakh literature. Who's Pushkin for the world? In the history of the literature of every nation, there are great people who personally influence on the epoch in the cultural life of their native people and leave an indelible mark. The same person, the most amazing Russian poet in world literature, Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin. The creativity of the poetry of the Padishah, recognized all over the world as the owner of unique beauty, will once again be celebrated on the Kazakh land. Pushkin was fluent in a variety of genre weaves. For example, as a lyrical verse, a poem, a short story, a novella, and historical novel. Pushkin's muse has become a spiritual treasure true for the Kazakh people. The depth of Pushkin's lyrical poetry is infinitely rich and ideologically significant. In his political and social lyric, the idea of the patriotism is most powerfully and impressively depicted. Pushkin's works were important for Kazakh literature. Taking into account these factors, Kazakh writers tried to translate Pushkin works. Therefore, even our little children know the goldfish, golden cockerel, King Sultan, and recite Russian fairy tales by heart. This suggests that not only Pushkin's great work were translated into Kazakh in his fairy tales. For the first time in Kazakh history, special attention was paid to Pushkin's heritage, Shokan Valekhanov, Ibray Altınsarin, and Abay Kunanbayev. In each epoch, the moment of mutual spiritual kinship and the creative spirit of the two need-pouring contrasts are not erased from the memory of descendants. When it comes to Pushkin, the first thing our people remember is Abay. In this regard, it is possible to note Abay as a poet and writer who made a great contribution to the translation of Pushkin's work into the Kazakh language. Special translated works into Kazakh. Abay highly appreciated Evgeny Onegin and translated it into Kazakh in 1889. In the novel Evgeny Onegin, Pushkin described the life of the Russian people, most fully, vividly demonstrated the relationship between nobles and peasants. The works deeply and artistically reflected the way of life, customs, character of different people, and the reflection of nature. And in the process of translating this work, Abay worked a lot. Russian translation of this work into Kazakh language clearly showed the fate of the Russian people of that time. From the expanded panorama of the work, readers were able to feel the poetic of everyday life, see the surrounding nature, the village, admire all this in a new way, marvel at the observation, sensuality, freshness, and skill of the poet. A later translation of the work is Tatiana's Letter. This work was performed under the authorship of Abay and was widely distributed throughout the Kazakh steppe. Here he not only wrote poetry, he strayed into the Pushkin style. Образ, равноправие, огонь мысли, источник поэзии. С этими словами создается впечатление, как будто они написаны собственноручно Пушкиным. В переводе этого стихотворения Абай использовал заимствованные слова из арабского языка. Например, слово «михраб» — это место, где он смотрел на явление. «Газир» или «гизир» — это причина, которая не позволяла делать ни одного дела. При этом мы можем видеть, что уровень перевода был высоким. The main idea of the sparrow and the flower. Next, Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin's poem, The Sparrow and the Flower, has also been translated into Kazakh. The theme and idea are so artfully intertwined in the poem. Which flower is beautiful, but what could be better than its beauty? That is, the poet expressed the idea that a person is not an appearance, but an image. The fact that Pushkin knew and appreciated greatness in those times, in that environment, is one of the brightest manifestations of the greatness of Kazakh poets. It is not by chance that Pushkin is associated with Kazakh literature. It is a close attraction. Therefore, Pushkin, who entered the Kazakh literature not only in content but also in poetic skill, had a high impact on our literature. I believe that it is a great task for us to pass on to future generation the wonderful works of such a wonderful poet and respect such wealth of the people when it exists. Thank you for your attention.